Oop.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alicia Guerra. I am a JavaScript developer here in the San Diego area. I'm going to be giving a talk today called AngularJS to Angular 2. And what I'm going to be covering is what's new in Angular 2, what's new with TypeScript, and how to facilitate a migration over from Angular 1 to Angular 2. So the audience that I'm directing this towards has at least a passing familiarity with JavaScript and AngularJS. It would also help if you were familiar with ES6 and class-based object-oriented programming. But if not, that's perfectly fine. No matter what your background is, I'm sure you'll get something out of this today. So, all right, what is Angular 2? It is a development platform for building mobile and desktop web applications. It's not a version update of Angular 1, but it's a complete and total rewrite. It was moved into beta in December of 2015, and the first release candidate was barely published on May 2016, which was 2 months ago. So we're looking at cutting edge technology here. So what's new in Angular 2? There's a lot of things, but I'm going to go over the main points. So mobile development, you can build native mobile apps with strategies from the Ionic framework, Native Script, and React Native. Desktop development tends to be easier when mobile performance issues are handled first. It's modern because Angular 2 targets ES6 and modern browsers, and this reduces the need for browser compatibility workarounds. It's component-based. In Angular 1, we used directives, controllers, and scope. And in Angular 2, we use components are the main way that we build and specify logic on the page. We're using TypeScript. You don't need to use TypeScript to use Angular 2, but it's highly recommended, so I am going to spend some time talking about it. There's also improved dependency injection. This model allows for more component object-based work, and the bindings make it possible for dependencies to be named. There's also dynamic loading, which lets developers add new directives or controllers on the fly. There's asynchronous template compilation, and then diary.js logging. Diary.js is a logging service that measures where time is spent to be able to identify bottlenecks. So, TypeScript. It's a free and open source programming language. It was developed and maintained. It's developed and maintained by Microsoft. It's a strict superset of JavaScript. It's a strict superset of ES6. It was first made public in October of 2012, but it wasn't made available on IDEs other than Visual Studio until 2013 when I think a plugin was released for Eclipse. And it's currently available on Eclipse, NetBeans, IntelliJ, Sublime Text, WebStorm, all these modern IDEs. So TypeScript is different than traditional JavaScript. The reason it's called TypeScript in the first place is because it supports static typing with optional type annotations. There are also declaration files which have the file extension .d.ts, and this kind of concept, it's analogous to header files in C, C++. There's classes. If you guys are familiar with ES6, it has classes, and because traditional JavaScript, it tends to be a classless language because the focus is on functions and prototype-based inheritance. But here we have classes. We can use inheritance to extend those classes. There's public, private, and protected modifiers. There's a static keyword. There's abstract classes, and there's constructor functions. So if you're more comfortable with class-based object-oriented programming, like if you're coming from maybe a C# or Java background, you might like this. You might like this language a lot better. There's also generics. And namespaces and tuples where you have arrays and it can be different types. So to map Angular 1 over to Angular 2, controllers and component directives map to components, services map to services, decorator directives map to directives, and filters map to pipes. Alrighty. So this is a plan to migrate over. I got it from Joe Eames, which is an Angular, which is a Google developer. There's a style guide on GitHub, written by John Papa for Angular, and it's best to upgrade to the latest version of Angular 1, which I think is 1.5.7. And it's best to do new development with components, and to start using ES6 and ES6 practice. All right, alrighty then. So that about wraps it up. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to give this talk. If you have any questions, feel free to catch me after this talk, and I'll answer them one-on-one. My contact info is up here if you want to shoot me an email if you have specific questions. Thanks.